Ignite the World podcast with Jaime Garza. Wow, this has been a long time coming. This has been spoken of like years ago, but God really has guided me into presenting this into 2023. And my word this year for 2023 is bold. Meaning, go and get it. You know, this has been a long time coming. The real purpose of this is my first podcast ever. I'm an entrepreneur. A little bit about myself. I've been running and operating a video production company locally in my community for this is going to be my 5th year. And I help businesses and small business owners, nonprofits use the power of video to grow and get their message out. And that's been my thing. I've been doing video production for over 10 years since I got a little flip cam when I used to work at Best Buy. And here I am. Like, I would never thought, like, wow, from the flip cam chronicles to doing music videos to finding and getting in that marketing space and realizing the power that video has to now creating a podcast using video. And video has always been like my secret weapon because it helps me with my confidence, it helps me speak, it helps me communication skills. It is really my public speaking skills. It has truly changed my life. But the purpose of this podcast, you know, I do a lot of interviews with business owners and entrepreneurs, a lot of great conversations with leaders in my community. I love leadership. I served as a past president for my BNI chapter. Shout out to the Woodbridge Business Exchange. I'm active on a few boards as a board of director. I'm always in those conversations. I'm talking to CEOs. I treat everybody the same. The moral of the story is, though, I love leadership. You know, it took me being a father to understand the importance of true leadership. And along my journey, a lot of people would tell me like, wow, because I interview them. And a lot of them would say, you should have a podcast, or wow, you're really good at getting me to speak about certain things, or Jaime, you're motivating and you're so positive. And shout out to Jenny. She told me last month when I was filming a video for her company, she told me I have that it factor, that charisma. And I've always, now more than ever, I've been more on this purpose of finding how I can help serve and serve in the best way possible. Like how many lives can I impact? And my discernment, and I pray to God each and every day for knowledge and wisdom. And He's been guiding me here. And here I am. Ignite the World podcast is officially happening. This is the first episode. I just want to go over what I'm going to be talking about and why I'm doing it. You know, like on this podcast, first and foremost, I am still on my journey. I have been born again. Last year I turned 33, but last year was the most trying year of my life. And I gave it all up to God. And I let Jesus guide me and everything. So I will say first and foremost on this podcast, I do not use any universe or manifestation. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about the Most High. I'm talking about Jesus. And He's continuing to build me up and continuing to spread me and be a vessel. So I want to let that be known now. If that's not your cup of tea, you know, this might not be the podcast for you, but you might listen and you might want to learn more too. And I invite you. On this podcast, I'm going to be talking about fatherhood. You know, something that means a lot to me. I have a stepson. I don't even consider him a stepson. That's my son. You know, he's 13. I have another son. He's 6. And I have a newborn, you know, who's 3 months. She's a girl. I am going to be talking about marriage. I got married in 2021 to my best friend. I'm going to be talking about entrepreneurship, the hardships, how I started in 2010, 2012 when I quit Best Buy, and what that journey has been looking like and how it continues to be a journey that never stops. I'm going to be talking about mental health. Me personally, I'm going to be very vulnerable. There's some stories that not even my best friend knows. Only maybe 2 people in this world know, but I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be talking about suicide. I'm going to be talking about depression. I'm going to be talking about how important mental health is. Like these demons that were upon me. I've battled alcoholism at a young age in my 20s. I battled narcissism with myself, just a huge ego. All these things, and I want to have a place where it can be discussed, because oftentimes when I was in those dark places, there was nowhere I could go. I was looking on YouTube, I was looking for books, but there was no one relatable I could go to. And over the past few months of this year, God has been telling me to be that resource and have these discussions, have this knowledge, have this vulnerability. Because in the Bible it says you must first become a fool before you become wise. And I'm a living testament of that. I want to share my story. I want to share my testimony. And I want to give you guys the raw. I want to give you that real deal. Like oftentimes we're on social media, everything is perfect, right? It's like a highlight reel. You go on Instagram, oh geez. You go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, like everything's perfect. But not a lot of people, big leaders, are making those, excuse me, getting over bronchitis too, by the way. Bad. I used to be an avid smoker too, smoking tobacco in my 20s, and I'm still paying for it as an adult. I'm just so happy I quit smoking tobacco like 6 years ago. I'm gonna be talking about that too, health. But I'll often go back to the story, like there's no one's keeping it real. And I want to be a place where you can see the real deal. You could peel behind the curtain. If I can impact one person or impact others, whether the youth or someone older, I want to be able to impact. And that's the point of this podcast. And I'm really excited. I'm going to give motivation. I motivate a lot. I'm a current education coordinator in my BNI group. I love spreading positivity. I've always been like this, just being a positive, like spreading love, spreading positivity, and I want to create a platform to do so. And this is going to be the platform. This is Ignite the World podcast. I've had this idea throughout the months leading up to January. I'm currently recording this episode, January 5th. Excuse me. And from me picking up trash every month, I was like, you know what? How cool would it be to be the change? And that's my mindset. That's what I tell my sons. That's what I tell Kion and Carter. I tell them, like, be the change. It starts with you. Put the action behind it. Everything else will come. I don't know how this is going to work out. I know I'm going to be recording. I know I'm going to be showing up. But it's just like how I've been in my business. Like, I didn't have all the answers from the get-go. Like, I had to learn as I go. And you guys are going to be with me on this process too as I build this platform and start taking advantage of YouTube pushing podcasts, like being a podcast. And I know video. God has blessed me with talents of knowing how to produce video, love being on camera, my charisma, my messaging, my communication skills. Like, He's blessed me. So here it is right now. And this is Ignite the World podcast. I want to have an open space, especially for young adults my age. I'm 33 years old, and we're at that cusp. We've seen it all. We've been through the DSL, AOL Instant Messenger days, to MySpace, to still being outside, still interacting with our friends outside, going outside to play. That was a thing. To transitioning to the internet now, to when Instagram first started, to YouTube when it first started popping off in like 2012. going on this and then to content creation now, and just seeing like the evolution of that. And we're not having a lot of discussions in my age group. I surround myself with a lot of mature individuals. Not even all mature, like every age group I try to connect, whether it's that teenager who's going to my son's middle school and on his wrestling team I'll connect with, all the way down to someone who's 70 years old who has seen a lot of the world and is a successful entrepreneur. I bridge gaps. And that's what it's all about, bridging gaps. And I want to continue to bridge gaps. Ignite the World podcast. I want to create a place of positivity. I want to be a positive figure. You know, I used to dwell in a lot of negativity and a lot of habits that I'll be talking to more later on in these podcasts. But I want to use a platform to really push full positivity. I'm currently 9 months no alcohol. I quit alcohol last April 17th when I turned 33. And again, it was a calling from the Most High, something that not only I battled with, but has been plagued in my own family, alcoholism. And I want to be the change for my kids, and I want to make not drinking alcohol cool. Ignite the World podcast. Excuse me. Getting over this bronchitis, but that's not an excuse. This is what's in store, and what's going to continue to be in store each and every week. Again, I'm going to be talking about marriage, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, God, motivation, mental health. Those hot topics that need to be discussed. Here's the platform for it. So I have a lot in store. Again, I'm excited. I'm really excited because it's finally happening. I've been talking to my wife about this for the past few weeks, and I'm like, man, it's just been burning my soul. Like, my soul has been fired up. I am fired up for God. I'm not lukewarm. I'm fired up to get this message out. I'm fired up to help others. I am genuinely want to help one, reach one, teach one. And hopefully, it's like that Jay-Z quote, Hove did that, so hopefully you ain't have to go through that. Like, I want to give everyone all the value. That's the sole intent of this. So, be on the lookout. Weekly episodes coming your way. This is the first, but not my last. This is really, truly historic, prolific. It's actually happening. I want to give a shout out real quick before I go to Pastor Lonnie. I remember him reaching out to him last year when I was going through, last December 2021, before the new year. I was going like through the biggest depression in my life. And I remember getting on the phone with him, and he told me to don't throw the towel in. Keep fighting, keep swinging. And he told me, he challenged me. He was like, because he's from Jacksonville, he said, what would it look like showing the process and the journey from Jacksonville, Florida to Virginia? And he challenged me to think like that in my life, in my story. And a few months ago, it resonated with me what needed to happen. And that's why this is happening. So I just want to give a shout out to him right now as it hits my heart.